because I told you I'm jumping right into this. So this is Empire, season 6, episode 4. So it starts off with Andre and Terry christening the baby, and they're all glad that Lucius is there. Lucius is glad that the feds is off of his back and that Damon Cross is underground, but he wishes that Damon Cross was underground, naturally. So Hakeem comes in like, yeah, the Godfather is here, and Andre is like, yeah, the Godfather is late. Don't come in here on no, Don Corleone type ish or whatever. So, who was asking? So, Cookie was asked about Lucius, and everybody's like, oh, well, we got pictures of you and Lucius. Y'all look chummy. And she's like, no, we're not chummy. It's just a family event, a family affair. We're all good. Connie, Cookie's sister, was asking her. And she's like, this whole thing with you and Lucius is making me uncomfortable. And she's like, how's it making you uncomfortable? We're not together. We're just taking pictures. We are a family. So, Lucius is on the phone, and he's like, he's like, I'll be right there. So Cookie's like, where you going? You can't leave. And he's like, well, they're christening the baby or whatever. Like, I'll be back. I don't have to stay for this whole thing. So Veronica performs a song for the baby, and Lucius goes into the parking lot. Him and Damon is in the parking lot, and they both have guns drawn to each other. So Lucius is like, listen, I give you diplomacy or whatever. Stay away from my family, and I'll allow your family to live. So now we get back to Lucius and Cookie, and they're checking on the baby and monitoring his breathing. And she was like, yeah, we used to do that all the time with Hakeem, and I think it was Hakeem or Jamal, one of them. But they was like, they just have a habit of monitoring the baby and their breathing, which I used to do the same thing with both my kids. When they were newborns, I used to always check their breathing, because it's a scary thing. SIDS is a real thing, but that's something that you would wish that not you would hope never happens to your child. So like having the natural like urge to check on your child when they're sleeping, or your grandchild or whoever, a baby, it's common. So they're both just glad that Andre is around to see the baby or whatever, and he leaves the room. So she's like, you don't have to leave the room with him. He's like, I want to give you your space. Even though he did all of that for her in the last episode, they're still in like this awkward space of, should we work it out, should we be apart, that sort of thing. So Lucius is with Andre, and he apologizes for leaving the baptism early, and he congratulates and gives him props for closing the deal with Fox or whatever. And he noticed that he appointed himself as permanent CEO of Empire. And Andre's like, yeah, I did that so that the deal could go through, because you were on the run from the feds. If your name was still behind the CEO title, they wouldn't have closed the deal with us. And he's like, no, I'm not mad at all. You made a boss move. You got to stay on the throne. And I think he asked Lucius to see the rehearsal for the Empire film. So now we're with Becky and Portia, and they're in spin class, and Lala's song is playing. So Portia is pretty much giving up on spin class, and Becky goes to thank the instructor for playing Lala's song. And he said that he'll test it out in his other classes to see what kind of buzz it'll get or whatever. And she's like, well, how about I hype it up some more? How about I try and get Tiana as a feature on the track? And he's like, well, if you get Tiana on the track, then it'll be playing across studios all over New York. And she's like, all right, I'm going to get you that feature. So now we get to Hakeem and Lucius, and they're at the Empire rehearsal. And Hakeem is rapping to, you say he just a friend. You say so he's dressed real 80s looking, and the girl who's playing Cookie comes in, and she's dancing around Hakeem. So Lucius cuts the whole scene, and he's like, yo, this ain't even me. I would never wear anything cheesy like this. He's talking about the chain that Hakeem had. And then he's like, whoever this Cookie, she cannot be Cookie. She doesn't even epitomize as Cookie. And he's like, if you're gonna do a story about my life, it has to be real. Empire is based on specificity and details. And from this day forth, this is a Lucious Lyon joint, and I want to recast the girl who playing Cookie, which I kind of don't think he shouldn't, because the girl that's playing young Cookie looks like the girl who plays young Cookie a little bit, but Lucious would know better. So we get to Tiana and Andre, and he's congratulating her or whatever, and he, because she got like the richest deal for a female artist, but he does need her to make a public statement about the whole pro-life thing. And she's like, she stands by what she said, because she's tired of people telling her, like, trying to think for her and tell her what to feel and how to feel or whatever. And he's like, he doesn't want to tell her how she feels, but he just wants to do some type of damage control, and he needs her to make it right. And she's like, listen, the only reason why I said what I said is because, remember, I was pregnant with your brother's baby, and I lost your brother's baby. So I stand true to what I said. And he's like, I just need for you to make it right. I just need for you to do damage control. I just need for you to do a public statement so that it doesn't derail your career. So we get to Cookie and her agent, and they're saying how playing coy may affect her career. And of course the ladies are jabbing at Cookie for, I guess, leaking nudes or something like that. And she's like, you know, my nudes, she's like, my nudes are lit or whatever. Are you mad that your husband don't like your nudes or whatever? Are you mad that you sagging and your husband probably left you? And so the girl was like, yeah, my husband left me 6 months ago for our nanny. And Cookie's like, whatever it is, oh well. So that was too far, and you know, the lady started crying. But I'm like, as much as they poke and prod and all of that at Cookie, she says one thing, and it's, oh, you took it too far. Don't poke a bear if you don't want to get mauled. Hello? I ain't feel bad for that lady. So Cookie is like, I don't care, I don't like her. So her agent felt like it was harsh, and the network is pretty much saying that because she's going through everything she's going through with Lucious, plus she's not physically 100%, she needs to seek therapy. And Cookie's like, therapy is for white people, I don't do therapy. And she's like, listen, you might not have a job unless you do therapy, so you need to go. So she's like, you need to deal with your physical and mental issues. So we get to Giselle, Tiana, and Becky, and Giselle is pretty much giving her a tour of the place, and Becky is asking her to feature on Lala's song. So she tells them that Andre pretty much has her on lock with the abortion talk, and Giselle is like, listen, those men at Empire, they can't force you to say what they want you to say. You say how you feel and don't hold back. So stand for what you believe in. So she's like, okay. So Lucious and the screenwriter are together, and they're making changes to the script, and he wants to tell like the naked truth about Empire and how it started. So here comes Tracy, and Tracy is like, well, why aren't I in the script or whatever? And she's like, I won't be tossed to the side since I did you all a favor by giving you my son's heart or whatever. So he's like, listen, I want you to keep in mind that you don't scare me or whatever. And she's like, well, you listen, my son left me a lot of money, so you can't erase me. I have a lot of shares in Empire now, so, you know, get used to seeing my face. So now Cookie is at the therapist, and she's like, she doesn't know why she's there. The therapist shows her footage from the show or whatever, and Cookie is like, well, since you researching me, I could research you too, doctor. So she looks the doctor up on Facebook, and she's like, ooh, who this tall hunk of chocolate? And she's like, well, that's my brother or whatever. And she said, if you go to the next picture, that's my wife, and our twin daughters is putting like a really big dry spell on our sex life, but you know, the 5 years is worth it, blah, blah, blah. So she tells Cookie a little bit about her backstory, and now Cookie finally opens up, is like, listen, Cookie tells her that Lucious being back is a test. She does feel like she went too far with the comment she made. I don't feel like she went too far, but I digress. And she's just trying to deal with all of the stress that comes with Lucius coming back and all this other stuff. So she's like, listen, can we just end this early? And, you know, because I'm sure you don't want to be sitting here listening to me or whatever. Can we just end this early and just go home and watch Real Housewives of Atlanta or whatever? She's like, listen, I get paid either way. So if you here or whatever, then either way, it's up to you. And she's like, well, she said, I'm going to just go or whatever. And she's like, oh, I also can't help but notice the Birkin-sized bags under your eyes. And she's like, how have you been sleeping? So Cookie is like, not as much as my makeup artist is going to sleep when I get done with her or whatever. So Cookie is pretty much deflecting and she's avoiding or whatever, talking about the entire situation. So Tiana is performing, and she does a public statement, and she's like she's gonna say exactly what she feels, and she's like, I stand by what I said. All life is precious, and I am pro-life. So Andre is pissed because he wanted her to say what he asked her to say as far as damage control go. So he turns to Devon and asked Devon if he put her up to it, and Devon is like, listen, Tiana's her own woman. I didn't tell her to say anything. So it was an exec that was there that dropped out of even working with them again. So that's what pissed Andre off too. So now we get back to Gizelle and Becky, and they're at Empire, and they were going to negotiate a meeting, but Andre tells them that the deal is off since they talked Tiana into going against what he asked, and he bans them from working with any other Empire office. So with any other Empire artist. So Gizelle is like, okay, well, seeing as he's threatened us not to work with anybody with Empire, why don't we sign Tiana right up under his nose? Becky doesn't really think it's a good idea because Tiana would be like a liability or whatever. So now we get back to Lucius and Cookie, and Lucius is upset with how Empire is being ran or whatever, and Hakeem asks about Philly Street, and Cookie is like, well, Philly Street was like the biggest hustler out there until your father came and stole his thunder. So Hakeem is like, he's curious as to why he was kicked out of the movie, and Lucius was like, because he's a nobody, it doesn't matter, he's not going to be a part of my story, and that's that. So they're blessing the table or whatever, and they're just saying that they're gonna stay united as a family. So then they ask about Tiana, and they're like, isn't she a part of the family? So if she's a part of the family, why can't we control her mouth? And Cookie is like, so a woman has to do everything you men say? Like, don't do that. Let that girl say what's on her mind and how she feels. So Lucius is like, y'all are just running Empire into the ground or whatever. And he goes off, he pulls a Cookie move, drags all the food on the floor, and he's like, now you see how it feels. So Cookie was like, listen, I'm glad my food's still on my plate, and continues to eat. So we get to Terry and Andre, and they're discussing Lucius, and Andre felt the way about Lucius saying that he mishandles the company when he's doing everything in his power to handle the company as well as he can. So Terry is like, listen, I'm delusional and hungry right now. What are we going to do? And Andre's like, I'm trying to figure out what to do with Empire because I don't like my father being disappointed in me. And I think that's all this is. I think Andre, since season 1, has been trying to earn Lucius' respect. And it's like, yes, no, maybe, we don't know. So we get back to Gizelle and Becky, and they're arguing about signing Tiana. Becky thinks it's a bad decision, and Gizelle sees it as a business opportunity. Becky sees it as a personal thing because she had an abortion, so her signing Tiana would feel like going against what she believes in. Because she had the abortion, she made the tough decision to have the abortion because at that time, I think she's at the peak of her career, and she didn't want a baby to come and interfere with that. So Gizelle is like, listen, I had an abortion too. You know, me and Eddie were together. We were going through a rough patch, and I decided not to keep the baby. So I'm not saying that I stand for what Tiana believes in. I'm just saying that This is business. And Becky is like, nah, like this is personal. So Gizelle's like, listen, this is a difference of opinion between you and I, but imagine how much women empowerment we would have if we signed Tiana. At this point, we can rehabilitate her career or whatever. They don't come to a happy medium right then and there. So now it's Lucius and Cookie, and they both need to talk. And she said that she forgives him for attempting to help Andre commit suicide. And she's like, she was upset at first, but then she understands why he felt the need to do that. So she's just mad that she didn't know about it. You know, so imagine she would have come and saw Andre laid out dead and would not have known that she could have saved him if she didn't find out about it. So they pretty much want to put it behind him, but he doesn't forgive her for not coming with him on the helicopter and lying about Damon. And she said the only reason why she lied about Damon is because she was tired, hurt, and angry. And he's like, he felt like he did everything right. And she's like, he went behind her back. And he was like, you went behind my back too with the whole Damon situation. So him and Cookie just been doing a whole lot of tit for tat BS or whatever. But she's like, she doesn't want to give up on him or them to give up on each other. And he's like, what's the point of continuing? I think our love is broken. And then he walked away. So Andre is heading to the conference room, and he sees Lucius in the conference room doing damage control. So it goes to Becky and Gizelle, and Becky is excited because Lala's song is the number one requested song in the spin class, like she was hoping it would be. So as she's going to tell Gizelle, she finds out that Gizelle signed Tiana behind her back. And Becky's not happy, but Gizelle is like, listen, I seized an opportunity like you did with Lala, so we're both even. And she's like, we can make our 5-year plan happen in 1 year. All we have to do is rehab Tiana's image. So she's like, I promise you, things are going to work out and we're going to be good. So because she said that, Becky is like, all right, I'm going to go along with your plan and see how this goes. So now they're at the Empire rehearsal, and the writer gives Lucius the script. He still wants to recast Cookie, but Tracy pops in and is like, oh, not only did you wipe me from the script, I also noticed that you wiped Philly Street from the script. And you want to know something funny? I ran into Philly Street, and I told him about the movie, and I asked him to come by. So she brought in Philly Street. I'm like, Tracy is a problem. That child is a problem. But we already knew this. We knew this. We knew she was a problem with how she was acting with Kingsley, because she really poisoned Kingsley's mind into believing that Lucius did not want him. And Lucius had no clue about Kingsley, but whatever. So now we get back to Cookie and the therapist. And she barges in on another person's session and bribes the patient. She's like, listen, you know, take this and I'll take you on a spa date, something like that, whatever. So the therapist leaves. I mean, not the therapist. So the patient leaves, and the therapist is like, why are you here? And she's like, listen, I want to try therapy, but I have stipulations. So the therapist is like, listen, that's not how therapy works. You don't run therapy. You don't give me stipulations. You do the work, and I work with you as you do the work. So Cookie finally like lets her guard down a little, and she's like, listen, I've been through a lot more than I've been through these past couple of weeks, but I'm tired. So she's like, I can't sleep. Why can't I sleep? So the therapist is like, listen, let's talk about it. Are you ready? So Cookie is like, well, me not sleeping mean that I should have woke up. I shouldn't have taken a nap. So it flashes forward to 9 months from now, because we know in 9 months somebody's gonna kill Lucius, shoot Lucius or something. But we see Cookie running out of the house and jumping in her car. Soon as she gets in her car and closes the door, her car blows up. And I'm like, oh shoot. So not only is Lucius dying, Cookie dying too? And at the end of the day, I'm like, bruh. So, and we only on episode, what, friggin' 4? Right, this is episode 4? Yeah. I'm so anxious to find out like what happens, like what led to that. But I do like that Empire is doing the flash forwards or whatever, so we can kind of see like how the story comes about full circle or whatever. But y'all let me know how y'all felt about this episode. Please like, comment, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend about Tisha on the tube. Tisha on the tube. Tisha on the tube. Thank you so much for rocking with me and waiting for me to do these uploads. I was like, I'm going to do these and get them out the way, come hella high water. But I'll see you guys in the next video, which more than likely will be Growing Up Hip Hop. Have a blessed Thursday. See you in the next video. Later.